everybody? Welcome back to the One Step Better Business Podcast with Mike and with Matt. Matthew Patrick, today we're going to talk about everybody's favorite topic, not having to work. Really just retirement planning. Or retirement in general.
Can we talk about not working? I like that answer.
We could figure that out. We'll find a way to weave in not working. You can go play golf tomorrow?
Well, sure.
Let's go. Not working. There you go. Before we do that, question of the day, question of the week, question of the episode.
Yep.
If you were a ghost,
okay,
who would you haunt first?
Oh boy, it would be fun to haunt my mom.
Oh man, you can't do that to your mom.
But it'd be super fun.
Oh.
I love giving her a hard time. It's one of my favorite things, pushing her buttons.
Is she like jump scared?
No, I'm thinking about more just like, and my mom is highly OCD. So like she checks
you can start moving her stuff around.
That, and also like unlocking the doors. She knows she locked because she already checks them like 75 times. It'd be so much fun.
Oh man,
to annoy the crap out of her. She'd be so mad. She already is so mad most of the time anyway. So it's a good start. No. Hi, Mom.
Yeah, you gotta be careful. She listens.
You're one of our 5 listeners, so you might want to know. Yeah.
Oh.
Who would you like to haunt?
I think I would haunt my wife.
Yeah.
Which I kind of already do, but I'm not a ghost.
So.
Because she does get super jump scared.
Oh, does she?
Yeah. Like if she's at home and you just walk into the same room that she's in, she jumps and freaks out. It is so funny. We have an unwritten rule now that anytime I get home or walk in the door, I have to immediately start making noise. That way she knows. The other day, about a week ago, Cameron came home to pick up something, and he did not. He was like, "All right, it's go time." And it did
now that I know this though, every time I see
well.
your wife from now on, I'm going to scare the crap out of her.
It's so easy.
Yeah,
it's so easy. Like we can be in the same room, and I just like move a certain way, and she just kind of gets lost in her own thoughts, I think, and it's so funny though. Yeah, Cameron got into a lot of trouble because he came home at a time that
scared the crap out of her.
She wasn't expecting. Fun. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Mallory would be fun to mess with too, just because it's fun to mess with her because she gets mad.
Yeah. You just it sounds like you just want to piss some people off. That's what being a ghost is about.
That's I'm a ghost. Who would I want to haunt?
Well, pre-ghost retirement comes real life retirement.
Nice segue, Mike.
And so today we're going to talk about retirement planning, things that you got to consider, think about as you are maybe a business owner or leader, and retirement could be a really good way to stack some cash away.
Yep.
So
that's the goal, right? And hopefully people have the goal of growing a really nice business, putting some money aside. Hopefully part of your retirement probably will be the sale of that business. But we'll talk about all the things about retirement today.
If you do own a business, what are your options from a retirement standpoint?
Yeah. There's really 4 options. You can still, most of the time up until income limits, do a Roth or traditional IRA contribution. Traditional IRA contribution limits, I'm not sure of this year right now what the limits are off the top of my head, but that would allow you to take an amount of your contribution off of your income, as it's basically a adjustment to your income. It's a pre-tax, think of it like pre-tax deduction. A Roth IRA would allow you to put after-tax dollars in, but that would grow tax-free. That's the same as if you're a business owner or not a business owner. Those really aren't anything different. As a business owner, there are a couple other things though. You can have what's called a SIMPLE IRA, which is a business retirement plan. It has some pretty simple rules, no pun intended, simple rules about how much you have to max for your other employees, what the amounts you're allowed to contribute are. And it is where I generally recommend most people start in their business retirement plans or a SIMPLE IRA, mainly because it's really a couple $100 to administer a year. It's the easiest way to put money aside. It creates a very easy structure for most business owners to start from. The next one is a SEP, which is self-employed pension. That is not one I generally see, with the exception if anybody has employees other than
Yeah.
themselves. And the reason for that is you have to, whatever you fund as a percentage for yourself, you have to do the same percentages for all your employees. And it's not really one. So I see that with a lot of like one person doctors, who like, let's say they work in a hospital facility, but they're still an employee of their own corp. We'll see that sometimes, and they're the only person on that plan. That makes some sense. But if you have more than one employee, I wouldn't recommend that one. And then in today's world, the biggest one that most people probably are familiar with is the 401k. And a 401k, with the Secure Act that came out this year, the credits that are available for new plans, those costs to administer a plan today are lower than they've ever been. And so if you want a pretty good option today, which is a lot better than it used to be, setting up a simple 401k plan is not a simple 401k, but a 401k plan is what I'd recommend most small businesses do. And it gives you a lot more flexibility.
It is possible to set up a 401k plan that is very simple, though.
Yes, it is.
I think about this could be an overwhelming area.
It is.
If you don't really know all the different options. You think about even setting up a 401k plan. If you do go through that exercise and you do it with the wrong provider, it is going to be extremely overwhelming because they're going to ask you a million questions.
Yep.
Because there are a lot of options with the 401k, at least to get it set
Who's
up.
eligible? How old do you have to be? How many hours you have to work? What's the vesting schedule? What's going to be your safe harbor match? What's going to be your investment choices? How much you really plan on funding it for yourself? How much you plan on funding it for your employees? There's 1,000 questions.
Yeah.
And I probably didn't ask, any of the right ones. Those are what I tell you.
And it's like, I don't know is the answer.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you suggest? I don't know. I don't know. Simple IRAs are a lot easier. Not as many options, not as flexible though.
Correct.
So oftentimes in a 401k, you as the owner have more flexibility to contribute more dollars. And it's really one of the easiest ways to defer income. Obviously there's limitations to how much you can contribute, but a 401k does give you probably the greatest flexibility in that.
It does. And it gives you the most flexibility in the long term to be able to put the most money aside when you figure all the things possible with it. Also, like I said before, with the tax credits that are currently available, the cost between a simple and a 401k is pretty darn close, if not even better with a 401k today. And so I'd really probably recommend most small business owners probably look at a 401k as long as they have, the plan to defer at least a little bit of money. And it allows you to have the upside of, this year, I think the number was $74,000 you could max out total. And so that obviously is cash dependent. You also have options, you can add Roth to it. So it gives you a way to get money into a Roth when your income is too high. There's lots of different options as far as, what the requirements you can set up are to limit who is eligible in your plan and who's not. So I'd recommend probably most of the time today a 401k.
Yeah, makes sense. The timing on contributions is important if you think about this from a tax planning strategy. What are the rules around that?
Yeah, anything employee deferred. So the employee has made an election to take money out of their normal check, and or you as the employer. So me as the owner of the business, I have to have that funded before year end. So that money has to be in. I think it's actually within 3 business days of a pay date, or by year end if you're an owner for your employee deferral. The employer piece of that, you have a little more wiggle room around. Part of the reason for that is, particularly as an owner, you don't always know what your how much you're going to be eligible to contribute as an employer is for your own benefit, but also they give you some time there. So you have until your extended tax filing date. So if you're an LLC or an S Corp, you have until 9/15, a calendar year 9/15. And if you're a C Corp calendar year, you have until 10/15.
Yeah. A lot of flexibility around the timelines on the employer sponsored contributions.
Correct.
Not flexibility around employee deferrals.
Correct. That has to be in right away.
Yes. I think it's like the 10th of the next month or so. You get a little bit of time, but not very much.
Yeah. I think I think there's so many days after, and obviously we'll have that in the show notes maybe, but how many days you actually have until, I think it's 3 business days or 4 business days on the employee, because you're holding that your employee's money kind of hostage at that point. They've already, that's their paycheck that they're going to get into their 401k, and that money is also not changed by vesting schedule or anything like that. It's going to be, that's their money. If they decide to leave your employment, they're going to be able to move that somewhere else.
The I think the thing to remember though is anytime you're going to offer a retirement plan, it is a heavily compliance world. ERISA has oversight onto all of that stuff, and there are very very strict things that you can or cannot do, and so you don't want to go into this blindly and just like,
It's
well,
not
I'll
just
figure it out as I go.
It's not opening up a checking account.
Yeah.
And even that today is not the easiest thing, but this is a lot more difficult than that. You have a plan document that has to be done. Most 401ks, or all 401ks, are going to have a very detailed plan document. You're going to have certain requirements you have to provide to your employees who are eligible for the plan. And when they leave, there's certain requirements you have to provide them to let them know how to move their money off that plan. You have a Form 5500 you have to do, no matter the plan size, which is the actual plan itself has to do a tax filing to make sure that everything's being done properly. You have a record keeper, which tells you, make sure all the money was in place at the right time. You have a custodian, which is actually the one who holds the funds. You have, and I might be talking about this stuff wrong. And then you also have your TPA. So all those pieces got to go in. TPA is the person who's going to do your testing to make sure you're in compliance. They're going to help you with 5500. And there's just a lot of pieces moving in. Yeah. The nice thing about that is, most of the time today, when you go to establish a plan, they're going to help you set all those things up at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of service providers that do all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And the compliance piece around retirement plans is a pretty well-established industry. And it's a well-established offering that many financial advisors or TPAs have. So, don't be scared of that stuff. Just know that you can't walk into it willy-nilly thinking, I'm going to do whatever I want to do.
Correct.
Because that will trigger significant penalties.
Yeah, and we've ran into issues with some new clients that have come on board of ours that weren't aware of what they agreed to on the front end as far as matching rules and who's eligible, who's not eligible. And they have, been out of compliance, and to get back into compliance, we've had to get attorneys involved, and it can be something that gets overwhelmed. So as you're looking through trying to get retirement plans set up, this is something you want to be very diligent about. Find reputable providers, and we'll be happy to refer you to one. We also offer, we have some partnership relationships with some 401k providers that we work with here in Memphis, but everywhere else. And we'd love to help you walk that through.
Yep. Bottom line, retirement plans like a 401k or even a simple IRA is a very, very easy way to defer some income, get some tax advantage in current year, especially for business owners with the limits that where they're at. We do have a tax advantage retirement moves for business owners guide that is on our website. You can go download that, take a look at that. And so, yeah, there you go. Tax advantage retirement moves for business owners. That's a mouthful. So I would encourage you to go download that. I think it'll be a good resource for you guys. But if you have any other questions, make sure that you reach out. We'll be glad to help you however we can. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.